Okay, you guys, hello everyone, and welcome. My name is Jenna Blackard, and I am the host of the Happy Empires podcast. And today's guest is Petra, and she'll pronounce her last name for you. I brought her on as a guest today because she really talks about living life from the moment. Her event and website is called Meant for More, and we are going to talk about really how us women today can be in the energy and the space and the consciousness to grow our businesses with flow, stay in the momentum when craziness happens among the world, and how we can really truly be ourselves and express ourselves through our business. So Petra, welcome.
Thank you so much, Jenna, for having me. I really appreciate it. And right before you hit recording, just the little bit you told me about like your mission and how your mission and my mission aligns. I think it's super important that we come together and show other women what's really possible.
Absolutely. I think that, I don't know about you, but this world is kind of hitting a moment of craziness and panic. And I feel that we need to, as small business owners, as women empowerment owners, as ones that trust the flow, we really need to be louder voices out there. And I guess I'd like to start with, when did you really know that this was the path for your life, for your business, to help empowering women bosses?
Uh, I don't think there was like any like aha moment and it's like, oh, this is it. This is what I'm meant to do. I think that very often we get so frustrated by looking for the it, what exactly it is that we are meant to, do here. And what I find out throughout my journey, it always unfolds. As you change, everything you're doing is changing. Like who my ideal client was 5 years ago, it's not who is it now, and nor am I. And so really giving yourself the grace. And I truly believe that I am living my business so abundantly and fulfilledly now because I created something that I needed myself. And that's very important because very often we do things we're good at, but is it really fulfilling? Is it really fun? I started my first business with social media marketing and I was good at it, but I felt like I created a job for myself. So it was like 24/7 instead of 6 days a week.
Right. Yeah, I've been there. So how did you go and make that shift from that hustle for you? Was there anything specifically that you did?
I think it was like a slow churn, slow churns on this path. And I think that the biggest one was when I was still in a corporate job. I was hustling on the side with my social media business and a couple of my clients. And I was going back to the school to get my bachelor and master degree in business. And I was working so hard and there was like no life on the side. There was no weekends out. There was no time off. It was just like, let's do this because I knew it's temporary. But also I was sick all the time, like physically and emotionally. I was drained. I was unhappy. And I was just wondering, like, is this it? Like, really, do I have to be working this hard? And one time I went with my ex-boyfriend he had the cabin at the Mont Charleston here in Las Vegas. We went there for a weekend and I always bring my laptop and my work and everything. I was like, okay, I'll just be working in the morning and then in the afternoon we can like have a break. And that day the internet shut off and we're in the mountains, so there's no reception.
Right.
And I'm screwed because I'm supposed to be working on my client stuff and I'm supposed to be writing papers for my school and I can't. So major freak out, the world is ending, I'm going to get fired. And like the worst case scenarios kept coming to my head. I'm like, I just can't stay sitting here. Like it was getting worse and worse and worse. So I took my dog and we went for a walk and I came back like in, I don't know, like under an hour. I came back, internet is working, and the stuff that it was taking me for weeks to do, I did it in just a few hours. And that was the first time that I realized that when I feel good, I
Mhm.
can create so much more versus pushing and stressing and forcing. I was so creative and so inspired. I'm like, wow, like where
Mhm.
else can I use this?
Yeah. So, what now, when you're not in that energy or that flow or that mindset, what techniques or tools or processes do you use to shift your energy to find your zen, so to speak?
I love that question, you know, because the thing is, when you are on a journey of personal development, sometimes you feel like, or spiritual journey, you think like, oh, I should know better. I should be always high vibe and I should always feel great. And there will be ebbs and flows. So, knowing yourself and knowing what makes you feel good, you get to use that
Hmm.
on the moments that you are feeling low or you are feeling upset. And for me, it's always meditation and shower and nature and cuddling my dog or my boyfriend. It's just like anything that will distract me in a good way, because we can distract
Hmm.
with eating and shopping and like really
Right.
things that long term are going to harm us. But tapping into what feels good and it's good in a long term, you get to do more of that.
Yeah, it seems that you really have, been a watcher of your energy, so to speak, so that okay, this is when I'm starting to get unsettled or feel overworked or stressed out. Now is the time for me to go out in nature or be with my dog and really love up life again.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
non-negotiable, because the thing is that from the space you create, it's what you will create. So if I'm unsettled, if I'm frustrated, if I'm not trusting, that's what will
Hmm.
come back to me.
Right.
Because it doesn't matter what you say or what you do, your energy, it's louder than any words. Just think about it. This is not any woo-woo. You walk into the room, you look around, and you can feel the people's energy. Who is happy, who is feeling good, who is pretending, who is depressed. You look at their bodies, you feel their energy. It's just so loud. So you get to reverse it and look at yourself and really ask yourself, what would make me feel better right now?
Right. Right. What is it that in your business that you love doing the most?
I love my one-on-one coaching clients. It's
Mhm.
just, it's so undescribable. Like when I'm with women on a call like this, when I can see the greatness and the possibilities, and it's just like really like moving away the veil that they put in front of themselves when they feel unworthy or not good enough or not
Mhm.
deserving, when they're feeling stuck and they just know they're meant for more and they just don't know what is the next best step. Because I'm not in it, I can see their blind spots. So it's like
Right.
seeing women come alive, it's the biggest joy that like I could ever experience. And even better, I might say, it's my life events or retreats, because I am in that energy and you can
Right.
immerse in it. And that's just that's like completely or another level when you can be present with the woman.
Right. So, I know that you use the word unapologetically abundant. Um, and it seems like that's what people really walk away with in your event. And, it's sometimes when we talk about going in the flow, but, are there things that you find that you repeat over and over again when people are, being apologetic or trying to please or not seeing their worth or their value? Can you take us through like some of the processing that you help people with and allow our listeners to kind of walk away with that unapologetically abundant essence of being? Like a
Absolutely.
little experience or something, maybe.
Yeah, well, there is one of the exercises that I absolutely love doing, and it's super easy, and I give it to my clients. And it's to really realize who you are and your core values,
Mm.
because you can only be unapologetic when you know who you are. Because very
Mm-hmm.
often, especially
Nice.
as women, we are everything for everyone. You're the wife, you're the daughter, you're the friend, you're the employee, you're the employer. You're so many different things, and you are just changing mask with every door that you open. And it's so tiring because then you lose the sense of who you really are. So creating your core values gives you
Mm.
clarity and confidence, and then you can just take inventory of your life and see where it doesn't align anymore.
Right.
So to create the core values, you just take a sheet of paper, you divide it in the middle, and on one hand you write down what you don't stand for, the things that you really
Mm-hmm.
dislike, and on other things you do stand for. So you just
Mm.
go back and forth, you write 20 of these things on each side. So for example, I don't stand for hate, I stand for love. I don't stand for cheating, I stand for loyalty. I don't stand for being like grudgy and cheap, I stand for generosity. And you just
Mm-hmm.
go back and forth because this is unique to you and unique to your experience. Like, I don't stand for cheating because 9 out of 10 of my boyfriends cheated on me. So
Mm.
that became my non-negotiable loyalty. And that's how I was able to attract the love of my life, because it's also one of his core values. But I couldn't do it
Mm-hmm.
before I knew it's non-negotiable.
Right. And gosh, if you do this like every month or every 90 days, one of my tools is I help people make a 90-day note, right? So I was thinking, maybe this should be a part of the 90-day note kind of thing. Because if you were like, you will go deeper. If you have to come up with another 20 every 90 days, you'll keep going deeper into knowing you even more. Um, I for me, I've been on a deep journey to getting to know myself, and I've, taken a lot of work so that I do know myself, right? And one of the things that I know is like I'm often undefinable, right? So it's like the word for me to define myself is often also undefinable, and it gives me this spaciousness feeling that I can be whatever I want to be in each moment as well. So, I was thinking, well, what would my list be that would go even deeper than like the simple things like love or hate? Like if I would take that deeper, it'd be like
Yeah.
sensational, right? And, experiencing all the senses of life. And I love that exercise. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And to
What have people
and to
like?
finalize the exercise, once you have,
Oh,
there is one more step to
okay.
finish the
Oh,
exercise.
sorry.
So I just want to make sure that we finish it, because
Mm-hmm.
like knowing these 20 things, it's great, but it's too much. It's too
Uh-huh.
overwhelming. So you get to go to the list on the side that what do you do stand for, and
Mm-hmm.
choose 3 things that are non-negotiable. For me, it's
Uh-huh.
loyalty, generosity, and growth, like always growing. Once
Right.
you know these 3, you get to write it out down. You get to have it on your mirror, you get to have it in your office, or you get to put it in your wallet on like a business card, because you get to keep reminding yourself of what you really stand for. Because when I did this exercise 3 years ago, I let go of everything. 5 year of toxic relationship, I let go
Mm-hmm.
of my successful social media business. I let go because it wasn't aligned with who I was really being. And yes, you can make this exercise as often as you want to, because you change. My core values
Right.
are still the same. Maybe one will
Well,
change,
growth
but
would be, I think people like us who are constantly seeking and constantly growing, that is something that's pretty sustainable, right?
yeah,
To
my
just
values really don't change if you think about it.
Yeah, I
Loyalty.
guess you're right, because mine, I'm thinking there's always going to be me wanting to seek fun and to make things more fun. So I think mine would be like fun and flow and momentum, maybe alignment or something like that. Um,
Let me
it's
know what they are, like once you have them, once you do the exercise, tag me on the Instagram at Petya Kolibova, and I would love to see your core values, because
yeah,
it's
I
so
would too.
eye-opening for my
Uh-huh.
clients, because
Right.
like I said, once you know, you truly become unapologetic and you let go of so much weight.
I love that.
It's
Wow.
so freeing. And Janet, I can see it in you and, you know, in your social media that you truly stand for freedom. And that's something that I truly
Hmm.
believe that it's natural to us. The creativity and freedom. We are creative
Yeah,
beings. And when we don't feel free, we feel confined. Like even when you're supposed to put yourself in 150 characters in your bio and you're like, I don't want to define myself.
I know. Hate that. I really do. I just cringe, you know. And one of the things I've been helping people with is really uncover their like messages that, you know, are have a solid expression within them. Like people can say their backstory, but like put all of you in it, right? You know, put the specifics, put the suckiness, you know, put it all in there, the cries, the tears, you know, and the wins and the ahas. And, you know, it's been, you know, in doing that with others, I've learned a lot about myself and, you know, how I be. And it's so funny because I don't deliberately like try to make things fun. And most people will tell me that when they're in my courses, they're fun, right? Or when they listen to certain talks, it's fun. Like there's usually a joke in there or something, you know, to lighten it up if things get like a little muddy. And I was like, so here I know that I have that core value. And I'm also getting like the resonant frequency of the feedback from others. So, you know, I think, wow, I think everyone should do this. I think we should just like even write that down below in the post. Let me make a note to do that because the more we talk about this, the more I'm like, wow. And
Yeah, right.
maybe, yeah, maybe it's like in the back of the 90-day note, and then you just keep like, you know, is this still true? Like,
Check it
or
with
have my,
yourself.
yeah, or
Yeah,
is there a better word, right?
I think it's very important to like keep checking with yourself and give yourself the freedom to change, because sometimes it's so scary. When I was letting go of my relationship and my business, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I invested so much like
Hmm.
energy and money and time, but then it wasn't me anymore. And
Hmm.
if you are not what you are doing, if you don't embody it, then why you're even here?
Right. Well, I mean, yeah, let's not go to the total why are you so, why are
No,
you even
just
here?
I just mean like you are here to live your gifts. You are here to live your own trueness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you are just walking with others and not feeling aligned with your truth, you will never be fulfilled.
No, I agree. I think that if you walk in the alignment with what you know your core values are, and if you can even expand it even deeper over time, that offers a very fulfilled life.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
What a
And
cool
that's why
exercise.
I changed the name of my podcast, you know, last year to Unapologetically Abundant, because
Hmm.
I realized that when I became unapologetically me, that's when all the abundance came. The love
Hmm.
of my life, my soulmate clients. It's so
Hmm.
easy to have women work with me because they're either heck yes or heck no, but I don't
Right.
have to like prove that, you know. And it's
Right.
so beautiful because I am so transparent about who am I being and why I'm here. And so when we create that ease, that's what brings the flow. And we all have the days that we wish would pass very quick and that we just could stay in bed. That's okay, but just look at your life and what is 80% of that. If 80% of it it's feeling good and blessed and abundant, well then you're doing okay.
Hmm.
There's a hummingbird, so that's our
Well,
son.
and there's that self-acknowledgement piece where then you get to like bring it back and celebrate you as well. So you don't get tied up in, you know, comparison with the other people out in the world, or, you know, you can really just self-love on you. And I think that even honoring your core values for a day at a time, and you end your day and go, wow, I really honored myself. If you continue to feed back to yourself and acknowledge yourself and celebrate yourself, I really believe that that changes one's self-esteem.
Absolutely. And there is
Yeah.
another exercise. A part of it was from Lisa Nichols, and she was teaching, the exercise of 7 by 3. So
Mm-hmm.
it was just mirror work. When you go into the mirror and you think about the things that you want to forgive yourself, the things you're proud of, and I can't recall right now the third one. I can look into that. But basically, the most important thing that I see in my clients is to come in the end of the day and say why you're proud of yourself.
Yeah.
7 things, like, hey, Petya, I'm so proud of you that you didn't honk that driver who cut you off. Petya, I'm so proud of you that you answer all the emails that you could. I'm so proud of you that you had only 10 donuts and not 12 that you could. So it's like the little things. Just think about it, because very often we think it has to be a big thing, like we sign up a new client, or we know every single day you acknowledge yourself. Listen, some days you just get to acknowledge yourself for putting a clean clothes on and showing up.
Well, and I think that if you don't judge yourself, you need to acknowledge that and say, hey, I made it through the day and I didn't even like spank myself once, right?
Yes,
Like,
absolutely.
I mean,
Because
I
it's
think
so
that
easy.
the thing that's killing our society and women among the society is constant self-judgment. They're constantly making themselves wrong. They're constantly judging, and that, and it's not they're judging others, they're judging themselves. They're I don't like this, I don't like that, yes, no, yes, no. And I really think that that is the number one thing that's keeping people in this constant state of overwhelm. For one, this high cortisol overwhelm level, stress level. It's because they're constantly not enough in their mind, because they aren't doing any of that self-acknowledgement and they're judging it.
Yeah. And the thing
So
is that when we judge others, we are judging ourselves, because
selves,
there is
right.
something that irritates us. And it's so easy to judge, because you look and it's not as you want it, so you judge it. But when I used to do that, what I start to say is, I love you. Because the
Mm-hmm.
first thought, you cannot control it. It's the survivor brain of like, I want to make everything safe around me. So when we see something that doesn't align of how we want it, we judge. Like, why they're eating
Yep.
this, why they're doing that, why they're wearing that. Like,
Right.
it's so easy. So in the moment that I judge, automatically I take a deep breath, and I say to the person mentally, not out loud, that might get us locked up, but just say, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Yeah,
release
no,
it,
no kidding, right? Yeah, I or even I like the word adore, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And it's amazing how many people I actually do adore,
Yeah.
and
Beautiful.
at the root, without their trauma and drama and blah blah blah, they are adorable.
It's so interesting, Jenna, like when I change, my environment change. I don't have people like that anymore in my life. I don't
Agreed.
even see that. It's just,
Yep.
I don't know, it
Right.
passed. Like, I used to have people who were negative and drama, and I don't have it anymore. It's
Mm-hmm.
not in my environment. It doesn't align with who I am, so I don't see it. It's just like I'm blind to it, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't have people like that in my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, thank goodness, because I don't have many, but the ones that I do, wow. I'm just like, why are we still having this conversation? I don't understand you. um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think I get most of that from my clients, right? They're coming to me, for, it depends. Some of them come to me to get going, right? They're just stuck. And others come to me because they just need to get a funnel done, right? So, it really depends who they are before they come to me, but oftentimes I will get clients and they just don't want to go. They're afraid to go or something like that. So I come up against that and I notice it, but I don't think that I resonate with it. It seems like their trauma and drama is just their trauma and drama.
I think we just attract
My hair
act
clipped in this
in
thing.
our lives would we say yes to, you know?
Uh-huh.
So when I started my business 5 years ago, I would attract clients who heck were not my soulmate clients.
Mm-hmm.
There were drama and there were like everything was a problem, they couldn't see the vision. But then when I got super clear on who my soulmate client is,
Mm-hmm.
everything else unfolded with such a ease that now I just really attract my soulmate sisters, like women
Hmm.
who are ready to go. I attract women who trust me, who are generous, who are loyal, who basically align with my core values and who trust me so much because they know that I care so deeply.
Yeah. What? Maybe I've got some more growth to go in that category.
I just think
you know?
when you become unapologetic about who you want to be serving, then
Right.
you attract those people. Because just
Mm-hmm.
think about it. There was one old parable that I read many years ago, and it's so true. There was a beggar on the street, on the road, and there is a rich guy passing by, and the beggar told him, "Can you please give me 25 cents?" And the rich person gives us 25 cents and passes by. And now this rich person comes back and says, if you would ask me for $1, I would give you $1. And
Mm-hmm.
that's like in life, you get what you ask for. Because if you get
Yes.
a client and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta pay my bills, how am I going to do it? I'll just suck it up, I'll just take it. Well, then you're saying no to something better. Sometimes we get to give up the good for something greater. And sometimes I was so scared when I had like big clients coming in and they wanted to be work with me. And it proved to me a couple times when I did it and I say yes and it wasn't heck yes, I'm like, I know I can help her. I know I can do that. It's going to be fine. No, it's not. Because if
Mm-hmm.
it's not like wholeheartedly heck yes in your body, then it's not for you and you're being,
Right.
yeah.
That's so key. It's so key. Oh my gosh, it's so key.
Yeah.
If it's if you're not all in, even if you still go through the motions, then you might as well have not done it.
No, it's
Yeah,
better no, because just think about it. Like, I don't want a coach that would work with me just because of my money. Get it from somebody else, Like, I
sure.
love my mentors,
Mm-hmm.
Like, I always, not always, but when I started my journey, I hired business coach and life coach and,
Mm-hmm.
marketing coach and spiritual coach. It changes
Yeah.
as I change, like my need and what do I want right now. I don't have 10 coaches at the time, although I have one client who has 4 coaches. So good for her. But the thing is that we just get to give ourselves the freedom and the trust, that
Mm-hmm.
everything is unfolding for us, and every person it's in our life for a reason. Because I don't know about you, Jen, but when I got clients, and like I said, it happened just a couple of times, and it gave me such an immense clarity
Mm-hmm.
on what to do, what not to do, and what do I want.
Right.
Because anytime that we see or feel something we don't want, we're so much more stronger about what do we want.
Right.
Before I was thinking, I want to have only like woo-woo clients because I love spirituality and love of attraction and manifestation. Well, what happens that when I declare this, I attracted a client who wanted just to manifest and she didn't want to do the work. She didn't want to do the
Yeah, I
quotes. She
know.
didn't want to do. I'm like, no, 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 no. You gotta do the blend. You gotta do the strategies and the spirituality, and together it's just like
Mm-hmm.
wow.
Yeah.
I got so clear on who I want to be serving now. All my clients are woo. Anytime I
Yeah.
get a new client, I send them
Me
like a
too.
gift. It has Palo Santo and incenses and stones, but then it also has a journal and it has like
Yeah.
book. So I feel like when you're really unapologetically you, it's so easy for you to attract the people who are like you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I would have to agree. So what has been has there been a few like key things that you've done that has really exploded your business?
Absolutely. So first of all, just I think it would be the positive affirmations. Like when I was
Mhm.
going, like people look at me now and they're like, oh my gosh, you're hosting live events, you're doing international retreat, you have a podcast, TV show, you're living in Las Vegas, so many clients, your love of your life. It's treating you like a queen every single day. It's so beautiful to look at my life now, but it hasn't been this way always.
Right.
I used to suffer with depression, suicidal thoughts, attempt of
Mhm.
suicide, bulimia for 18 years, really
Wow.
hating on myself and my body. Like I was cutting my hands because I felt so much pain in my body that I just needed to get out. And there was so
Mhm.
much self-hatred in me that I don't even understand like how could everybody ever love me.
Mm.
So starting with self-love and acceptance and positive
Mhm.
affirmations, and really huge in my life and my business was brainwashing myself, because like you
Right.
said,
Me too.
we are so easy on judging ourselves. You should look like this, you should do this, you should already have that. Listen, I will be 36 now and my life doesn't look at all as I planned it.
Yeah.
Like no kids, no dream home yet, like all of the things that I wanted to check off the list. And I'm so blessed and happy that it didn't work out the way I wanted, because I would be miserable.
Right?
Right? But the thing is that when you're in it, you judge yourself. You're like, oh, maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe I'm not worthy of love. Maybe
Yeah.
all these crops. So what I started to do is listen positive motivations. Louise Hay,
Mhm.
and all her team,
Yeah.
Dr. Wayne Dyer. Listen, I love Tony Robbins. He's amazing, because I truly believe that when I look at him, I was like, he can do it, I can do it. Like he
Mhm.
was on the street, and the
Yeah.
background he's coming from. I love looking at the people, and instead of like comparing myself and saying I'm not good enough, I was like, hey, if they can do it, I can do it. They're not gods.
I know.
So
I think that that's great. I think that everyone needs to start a practice like that.
every single
I
day.
kind of got to this place that I'm like, I'm a no self sabotage or judgment zone. And that's, if I ever notice myself doing it, that's like my key trigger that we've got to change something now. And I guess I started that about 6 or 7 years ago. And that has been the number one thing that if I find myself bashing myself privately in my head or any other way, I will go directly to changing my environment, to changing the question. That's like, if I don't see my value, it's like, are you sure, or is that just a lie that you're buying, right? So kind of asking myself questions. I mean, I think it's truly a self practice, and I'm finding it's so different for everyone.
It is, and I love that you're bringing it up, because I do help my clients with their practices and routines, but for each of them is going to be different. For a mom of
Hmm.
4, it's going to be different than single girl that it's in sales, so
Agreed.
it's completely different. But if
Yes,
you
and
think about
somewhat
it,
of and it's also the same. It could,
the foundation it's going to always go to self-love. If
right.
you love
Hmm.
yourself, everything else will fall into the place, because you're not going to harm your body, you're not going to be doing
Right.
things that will hurt you, you're not going to say yes to the things that are not heck yes.
And it
All
could
of
even
that
go to
goes.
what you eat and
Yep.
what you drink. I mean, if you love your body as a temple, you
Yep.
will change what you're eating and drinking. And even if you just love it for, half the day or every other day, at least it's something, and it will grow and it will expand because what you put your focus on expands.
Always. And I
I
love
say
that,
that.
because yes, I do. And the thing is that we always have a choice. I was
Mhm.
reading a book from Gabby Bernstein, and I don't know if it was the Super Attractor or the Judgment Detox, but she was sharing there the exercise about a choice.
Mm.
Like anytime that something comes up for you that doesn't feel good in your body, you can choose again.
Yes, love that, right?
Right? Every single moment. You don't have to be waiting for a New Year's or summer or Monday or whatever. Right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You froze for a second here. Let me pause this.
Right
Oh,
now,
there we go.
yeah,
You paused for a second. Sorry about that.
it's okay.
Uh, so why don't you share a little more about your event, when it is, how people can get involved with you, where to hang with you online, all that good stuff.
Thank you for asking. And like my favorite place to hang out, that's Instagram. As you can tell, I'm just like, that's my second home, Instagram.
Yeah.
And then my free Facebook group, Unapologetically Abundant Women. Only high vibe women, no drama, supporting each other. That's the kind of woman that I'm really attracting. And my live event, it's called Meant for More, and it's for women that they know they're meant for more in their life and they're not living it yet fully, and they're looking for the strategies and the sisterhood and really being in a safe space. And like I mentioned, our event, it's always small and intimate. I'm thinking this year it's going to be around 70 women. So it's in sunny Las Vegas. It's a weekend event, April 24, 5, and 6. Friday, it's just a VIP night, and then Saturday all day and Sunday half day. But it's truly time to pass everything on the outside, come back inside, and really reevaluate your life and choose again.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fabulous. So many of us need to continue to do these things.
Yeah. Yeah. I
And
think,
I think people, I know that the world is kind of running crazy lately, but I really feel that people need to continue to do things,
yeah,
and
absolutely.
maybe different things that
Yeah.
they're used to. Yeah.
Just doing the pattern interrupt, from what you're normally
Hmm.
doing. Is it still checking with yourself? Is it still working? Because if you cannot come to the live event, you can always do I have an online mastermind,
Yeah,
called Meant for More. So there are always options if you're open to your growth.
absolutely. Fantastic. Anything else you want to add to this podcast before we wrap up?
I just want to remind the women that they're perfectly made for their purpose, because like you said, very often we overthink, overanalyze, we're so hard on ourselves. But when we can
Mhm.
really embrace and look back on our life and see that it always works out for us and our highest good, then we can relax a little bit and get back into that flow.
Mhm. Thank you.